Hello everyone, today we're going to make an easy chicken curry and we're going to break some cooking rules today, but you're going to come out with some amazing chicken curry with some amazing flavor. We are not going to use whole spices today. We're going to use powdered spice only. We're going to use one full onion, diced. We're going to use 1 tablespoon of garlic paste, 1 tablespoon of ginger paste. We're going to use 1 tablespoon of salt, which sounds like a lot, but it's not much. And we're going to use 1 teaspoon of fenugreek leaves. Now that's optional. You don't need to use it, but I like to put it in to sweeten it up a bit. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of garam masala, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, of which you can pare back if you want or add more depending on how you usually make your curries or foods. We're going to use 1 tablespoon of coriander powder. We're going to use 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom powder, optional, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of allspice to taste like the cloves. And we also have 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now that is also optional, but we want to enhance this flavor. We don't want to cheat too much. Now, why are we going to break some rules? Well, we're going to put the tomato in with the chicken as we're cooking it. Now, usually you cook tomato and chicken at the same time. You're going to come out with a very rubbery chicken. We're not going to sweat the onions either. We're just going to put them in as it is because this curry will have a lot of sweetness because we're not adding the moisture and we have the powdered spices here. Now, there's one other thing that we're going to do today. We're going to use mustard oil. We're not going to use olive oil or vegetable oil. Now, one thing that we need to do with mustard oil is smoke it. Now, if you don't want to raise the temperature of the oil because you're health conscious, use olive oil and you don't need to take it to the smoking point. But for added flavor today, that's what we're going to do. So if you don't have mustard oil or you don't want to use it, use regular vegetable oil or olive oil and just put everything in the pot as it is and start cooking. We're not adding any other moisture like water or butter, ghee, anything like this. Just the tomato, the moisture from the chicken, and the onions and ginger garlic paste, oil. That is it, nothing else. We're going to put all of this into the same pot after we smoke the mustard oil, taking it up to the smoking point and have it smoke. Okay, so let's put all this into the pressure cooker. So here is the mustard oil. I'm heating it up. It's only 1 teaspoon. That's all you need for this recipe, and you can see it start to smoke. So I just want to show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to turn it off now. And this is to get that strong flavor, that undesirable flavor out of there and the smell out of there. If you don't do this, it's going to spoil the taste of the curry. Now, if you're using olive oil or vegetable oil, you can skip this step. But that's all I did. I heated it up, watched it smoke, and now I'm going to add the 1/4 cup of tomato puree, or you can use a small tomato, and the diced onion. I'm not going to sweat it. And then on top of that, I'm going to add the chicken and then the rest of the spices and mix it up. So here we are. You can see we put all the wet ingredients on the bottom and we put all the dry spices on top. Now, this is one of the rules again that we're breaking. Not only the tomato and the chicken in together at the same time, but we are also not going to fry all the spices in the oil to flavor the oil at this point. We're just going to mix it up now with the spoon here and slowly cook it at a medium-low heat. So here you can see we've mixed it all up. We didn't sweat the onions and all the spices are now mixed up with the meat. And we used 1 kilo of boneless and skinless chicken. You can use 1 kilo with the bone or without, it doesn't matter. Whatever you have, but 1 kilo or about 2 pounds of meat. Now we're just going to keep cooking it on a medium heat until all the moisture comes out of the chicken and makes a broth. And we're not adding any water or anything else to this pot. It is done. We're going to pressure cook it so we don't have the rubbery chicken. It's going to be very, very soft and tender when you eat it. And when you open it up, you're going to see how much liquid this actually makes. Okay, so we've been stirring it for about 4 or 5 minutes on medium heat, and all the chicken has been seared on the outside pretty much, or it's not pink anymore. And you can see all the moisture that's come out of the chicken and the gravy, the amount of gravy that's being made right now. We're going to stir it a bit more. You can continue cooking it this way if you don't have a pressure cooker, but you need to continue stirring it until you're satisfied with the doneness of the chicken. Now again, we're using the pressure cooker because you can see here that the chicken is a little bit rubbery here. It doesn't look that great, but after the pressure cooking, it's going to look amazing. So if you want to avoid this rubber chicken type of texture, add the tomato at the very, very end of the cooking process. But because we're pressure cooking, we have the option and privilege to put everything in there at the same time. And it actually smells wonderful right now, like a real curry right now. I want to eat it right now, but it's not finished cooking yet. Okay, so we've stirred it just for a couple more minutes, and you can see even more moisture has come out now. And now we're going to put on the lid. Okay, so now we've put on the lid, and we have it on the lower setting for pressure cooking. You can put it on the higher one if you want. But we're going to bring it up to pressure, and then we're going to lower the heat to a very low, almost to the very bottom here of the scale. So here we're near the top. It goes up to maybe 240 or mark 8, but we're going to take it down. After this pops up and the steam starts coming out, it's not going to whistle, but we're going to take it down. We're going to take it down, the heat, we're going to take it down to a fairly low temperature here, and we're going to pressure cook it for 15 minutes. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes now, and the pressure has dropped naturally. We did not put it under cold water to make it go down faster because we wanted to keep the cooking time going. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Oh, that is amazing. And you can see, look at that. Let's stir it up here a little bit. That's the reason we only used a half teaspoon of mustard oil, is because the chicken has a lot of fat and collagen in it as well. Naturally, and you can see this chicken is no longer rubbery in texture. It's very well cooked, and the smell is absolutely amazing. Okay, so now you can eat this with chapati, roti or naan, or top it on your rice. And let's set it up and see what it looks like so you guys can see. Okay, and here it is. This is the finished product, a very buttery tasting chicken curry that has been pressure cooked. Everything is very tender. It tastes like butter because of the fat mixing with the amount of salt that we put in. It's very healthy for you. Enjoy.